All right, welcome back to Great Day, Washington. Today, August 7th, is National Purple Heart Day, a day that honors the men and women who have served our country and suffered combat injuries.
That's right. Joining us now is two-time Purple Heart recipient Pasha Palanker to tell us about his experience and his advocacy work for mental health services for veterans. Welcome, Pasha. Thank you so much for being here.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah. Well, the Purple Heart is one of the oldest awards given by the military. What does it mean to you?
Well, as an immigrant kid that came to this nation when I was 15 years old, I carry a lot of pride in my two Purple Hearts. But at the same time, there's an element of guilt as many service members are killed or catastrophically wounded in the process of earning that award. But at the end of the day, Purple Heart to me represents individual and family sacrifice in order to preserve the values of our great nation.
That's right.
Do you mind sharing your situation? What happened?
Sure. I had a face-to-face encounter with a suicide bomber as he was driving a vehicle packed full of explosives into my vehicle. And I was able to engage him and stop him just a few feet short of like 3-4 feet away from my vehicle, and then watched him detonate about 10 feet behind me as we were driving away. And then later on, I had a massive roadside bomb blow up underneath me where it launched me 15 feet. Myself and everybody there thought that I was killed. They called for my helicopter to come get a soldier who was killed in action.
Wow.
But I was blessed enough to walk away from both of these
both,
explosions.
not just one experience, too.
Yeah.
Plus everything else that goes on with war and fighting and being a part of the military.
Yeah.
Very traumatic experience, of course. And what kind of long-term effects have you suffered from that?
Well, post-traumatic stress disorder is by far it's been the most difficult part of these experiences. When you come home, it's really hard to fit into society when you have these experiences. So a lot of us tend to isolate. And then on top of that, that anger that drives action and keeps us alive in combat, it comes out at home where I would snap at my wife and my kids or even strangers in a road race. So it pushes us into isolation. In isolation, one bad decision leads to another, and a lot of us end up in a spiral where suicide becomes real and valuable option. And that's what happened to me. Fortunately, I was able to go get help and rebuild myself in the process.
Right.
Well, and just getting help is the first step, because some people don't even want to admit that they need the help, right? What worked for you? I know for everybody it's different, but where did you kind of find that release?
Well, the most important thing was accepting responsibility, not waiting for somebody else to come and save me, and then trying different things. And for me, MMA, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, has been a huge part of my recovery. It's an exercise, it's a sense of community, and the compound that myself and Pal founded, it's become like a shelter for me and many others like me.
Right. And I know you do a lot of speaking, talks and corporate trainings, but what do you tell other people who are struggling with very similar mental health issues based on their experience?
The most important thing is accept responsibility. Don't wait for somebody else to save you. We destroy our lives by the small decisions that we make on a day-to-day basis, and we have to rebuild our lives in that way. There are a lot of resources that will be there to help you, but you can't just rely on them. It's all our responsibility.
It's all our responsibility. And also,
what can we do that those of us that didn't serve, that the partners, the wives, the husbands?
Well, the best thing that you can do is when somebody's struggling, the most effective thing is you can't tell them what to do or how to get better and go get help. Go give them a hug, put a hand on their shoulder, do stuff that makes them not feel alone, pulls them out of isolation.
Right.
Great advice.
Great advice. And I know you have a beautiful family, and I'm sure they're so grateful for you to be around and spending this time with them. And thank you for being here, Pasha, on Purple Heart Day. We really appreciate you.
Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate you having me on.
Absolutely.
And thank you for your service and for sharing your story with us.
It was an honor.
We're glad you're here with us.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
That's right. Pasha currently gives talks and corporate training on ways to help those dealing with mental health struggles. For more information, please go to pashapalanker.com, or you can follow him on LinkedIn or Instagram at Pasha Palanker.